Hey, it's Chaya and I'm back with another episode of Unstuck and Unstoppable. This series was created special for the people who really want to become unstoppable. People like you, people like me. And what I want to do is give you the guide that I've learned after really, really working hard, blood, sweat, and tears, to understanding how do we break through every single situation. How do we get out of an abusive relationship? How do we end abuse for good after being in the cycle of abuse for years? How do we end drugs? How do we end alcohol? How do we get out? How do we get unstuck? You know what? There's AA and there's all these NA and all different groups that are out there that I actually didn't know about when I was going through it. And therefore, I managed to break through on a different level and learn the what we need inside. What is the core need that we need to have in order to actually break through? And therefore, on day one, I spoke about this. If you haven't watched day one, I would suggest you go back just for day one, not for all the other ones. But day one, over there, I talk about how this process is just about showing up. Just watch the videos. If you can't make it to all, fine. But when you show up all the way. And the reason for that is because that is the most important thing to getting out, to getting unstuck, is being able to show up. Is the minute I know better, I do better. There's no in-betweens. And today I want to talk a little bit more about what are you telling the universe? We spoke about where focus goes, energy flows yesterday. And today I want to talk about what are you telling the universe? So I'm going to get a little personal here. The last few days, I'm going to do this like my naked series. I'm going to say it from an emotional place so that you get the full uncut version. So the last few days, my past was just kind of, I felt very triggered and I had no idea why. And I kind of had this replaying, well, there was actually a replaying song in my head, which was confusing me. It's called Pretending by Alec Benjamin. And it's saying, she'd be fine pretending that things were all right. And as I'm hearing this again and again, I'm having this feeling, a really triggered feeling, and I'm not sure what's going on. And I decided to go there. I finally started to go there, and I let it come out even though I didn't know what it was. And then I realized something crazy that was happening. I was judging my past. Now that I understood why I did it, how I was replaying different parts of my childhood, I started to judge the adult me who let that happen, who had no idea, and through no fault of her own, was replaying and recreating what she knew, going to abusive, scenarios, and really just, I was being really judgmental to that. And it was weird. I had no idea why. It felt like this huge war was going on. So I'd get judgmental first at me, at my past, and then I'd get judgmental at me here in the present for not being able to make space for a past me. And it was the weirdest thing. And there was this moment where I recognized that was happening, and I literally started crying, and I said, oh my God, like, this is insanity. I am unable to stop this process. And what was happening during that time that I want you to understand is I was hating on me. The universe mirrors the way you act to it. So when you hate on yourself, you're acting that way to the universe, because we are the entire universe. So what you're actually telling the universe is, now's the time to hate on me. And when you hate, and when you do that, what you're doing is you're creating a lower frequency for yourself. And you're not able to attract what you really want. Now, what happened was something crazy. I spent a lot of time with it. And at some point I said, you know what, I'm going to accept that right now I cannot accept how I feel. One part. And then another thing, I'm going to accept that I cannot accept my past. I'm just going to accept that right now I'm in an acceptable place, in a place where I'm unable to accept anything. That's the only thing I'll accept. And as I started to accept that, something happened and shifted, and I started to feel acceptance in the world. The people who, before that, I started feeling this unwantedness from people and from the world, because that's how I was feeling, and that's what I was reflecting out, so that's what I was getting back. But suddenly I started feeling wanted and loved and cared for in a matter of a couple of moments. It just shifted. And the reason I wanted to detail about it is because A, I think it's really cool, but B, because I want you to realize it works exactly like that. However you're feeling about yourself, you are the universe. So if you feel you deserve money, you will make money. Plain and simple, because that means that the universe thinks that you deserve money. But if you, when you think about it, feel closed, you're telling the universe, I want money, but really you're closing off. So you're saying, I want money, but really I don't want money, so don't give me any. If you have a hard time with relationships, right, and you therefore have made this vision in your head that you made this thing that, you know what, when it comes to relationships, I end up being just, I feel like a horrible person. And I know, because I did this for a while, because the truth is that I was in such abusive relationships that I would feel like a horrible person, and I saw myself as a monster when I was in a relationship. So at some point I stopped really wanting one, even though I did want it, because when I would want it, I would say to myself, but I also don't want to feel that way. So I would give this conflicting message to the universe. And it's important that you know this, especially after we talked about where focus goes, energy flows. This is an important message to hear through your body. If you're telling the universe more than one message in the same exact spot of what you want, the universe will be confused and it will go back and forth. And you will, for example, have money for a few moments and then suddenly have nothing. You will have a job and then not have one, or be very happy at your apartment and not be happy at all. There will be this back and forth. Do you feel like you have a back and forth in your life? What is the unalignment that's going on inside of you? You're the universe. Where are you giving yourself mixed messages and therefore giving it to the universe? Today I want to remind you that. Take a moment. Check it out. Recognize. Am I saying on the one hand, I love me, I accept me, I believe I deserve everything, and then on the other hand, in the same breath saying, I deserve to be judged, I don't deserve anything? Because if you're saying those two messages, watch what happens around you. You will feel on the one hand very loved, and then on the other hand also judged by everyone and everything. But if you're able to find a space between you, a space of understanding for all parts of you, and understanding that there might be an unalignment right now, but really, what do I actually want? And that's why I started thinking, what do I actually want? And then I realized what I want is to accept my past, to accept that part of me didn't know better, even though right now I do. And I want to also accept that there are times where I will not be able to accept my past. And the reason for that won't be because I don't know better necessarily, but because I was modeled for so long non-acceptance. I was modeled judgment. And therefore it's hard for me to do it different and to give myself the space for both. And that's what you want to know. What is the vision that you want? You find the unalignment and then break it down. What do I actually want instead of there? Because once you recognize a problem, that's half the problem. But if you don't have the solution, what to substitute it with, you're just going to sit in the problem longer and the problem will get bigger. And I prefer that didn't happen. Do you? All right. Today's homework. I know I don't give homework, but today I want to. Check inside. Look deeper than you usually do. What are you telling this world? Where is that area that you don't want to look at? Where is that area that you go back and forth in? Look there and tell me. What do you find? Are you telling the world two different messages? Are you telling yourself two different messages? I'm great. I'm also the stupidest thing there is. And if so, what is the effect it's having on your life? And last but not least, what do you want to replace it with? Not how, what? You got it? Alrighty, you know what to do, right? Do you? Okay, I need you to like and subscribe right now. I will see you soon.